Check.
1, 2, 1, 2, here we go.
Welcome back, people. For another idea. Let's go straight in.
A podcast for creatives and entrepreneurs.
Just want to level up their business.
Kapow.
Are you all right?
I am very good, thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah?
I'm always excited, mate.
Yeah, but...
There's stuff going on, isn't there?
Yeah, lately we've been having incredible guests, and today is definitely one of those.
No different, but
Yeah,
I'm excited because you're sleeping over tonight, aren't you?
Oh. Have you got my bed ready?
No, I haven't yet. No, but I will. I will sort it. I will
Took a
sort
turn
it
already.
Yeah, we're doing a bit of a recording, aren't we, tomorrow for
Yes,
how
indeed.
to add a podcast to your brand.
So we are trying to maximize time as much as possible. So yeah.
Get some educational stuff moving,
Yeah.
so that people can kind of learn from what we've done, I suppose.
The
That's
things
the
we
idea,
do
isn't it?
for our audience, eh?
Yeah,
the
I know.
things we do. So yeah, if you are listening for the first time, welcome. And if you're not, welcome
Where have
again.
you been? What's going on?
And yeah, we always appreciate people liking and sharing and subscribing. So please do
We
all
wouldn't be
the
here if they
clickety
didn't.
things.
We wouldn't be here if they didn't, would
Exactly,
we? It's
exactly.
just it's a huge way to help us grow. And
Yeah.
if people like it and they enjoy what we're doing here, you've got to just shout about it.
Exactly that.
That's the very least you can do.
Exactly
but
that.
today's guests, I've got previous with them.
Yeah, we've got double trouble in the house.
Yeah.
We are double trouble. We're looking forward to really pushing the boundaries here.
I said about Igor sleeping over, man, I can imagine you two have a very similar relationship as well.
We know
yeah.
you from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
wedding. You probably don't remember much of my wedding.
Life's a little bit different now. Definitely.
What do you remember? Because you do many weddings. So do you remember anything at all?
Do I remember? I remember the weather.
Yeah.
Like I can distinctively remember like that. Those like clouds rolling over the hills of Siena,
Well, everyone
but
thinks.
it didn't rain.
So
Really.
you got a shot of me when we were doing like the
Yeah.
pre-service thingy with
Yeah.
the lightning in the background, and no matter who I show that photo to,
Yeah.
they think it's fake.
Yeah, no one believes that.
Like,
No.
no way did that happen. I'm telling you now.
Well, I
That
showed you
lightning-
straight away, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, it's total fluke.
Yeah.
It's
but
a total fluke, but yeah, it did happen, didn't
Yeah.
it? I remember the weather. I remember it like looking really grey and moody, but like in a stunning way.
Yeah.
Like your ceremony outside was just beautiful, wasn't it?
I mean, a big reason for us going to Italy was, we were trying to guarantee the weather. We didn't
Yeah.
want grey
Yeah,
sky,
the
and
irony of
then
it.
you've never seen angrier clouds.
The irony, eh?
Yeah. But no, it was great. And, from my perspective, we were really keen to get a photographer and musicians who would literally just embed in the group and be basically like a
We went
guest.
for a great hike the day before, didn't we?
We did,
Over
yeah.
to one of the little towns.
Yeah.
Remember that?
So yeah, no, you
I remember it more than Lee.
I actually remember all of it. I just didn't go to sleep, that was all.
Yeah, Lee had the biggest limoncello bill they've ever had on site.
So I was in a room on my own and everyone else was in 2s and 3s. Apart from obviously Ryan and Paige's because they were paying for the wedding, mine was the biggest bill for alcohol. It was ridiculous, but I literally didn't stop for 3 days. But yeah, life's very, very different.
You had a good time though, didn't you?
Oh,
Enjoyed
belting
it.
time.
You did.
I did.
Amazing.
Belting time.
I remember. So with the musicians, they arrived on the Friday night, and so we were out for having a meal. Sam was sat with me and Paige, and Lee was on a table with a few others, and the musicians come and sat right next to Lee, and I was like, this could end terribly.
Straight away.
And I could see him after like half an hour. He's buying them shots. He's giving them this, that, and the other. And I was like, they're going to be absolutely rotten in the morning. They got to perform tomorrow.
You weren't picking up his tab, were you?
No, I wasn't. And I remember I rang him in the morning and I was like, what time were you up to, the musicians? And they didn't go to bed till like 6 a.m. And Matt and Donald, who were the musicians, looked dreadful in the morning. They looked so hungover, and I was like, "Oh my god, are they going to be able to perform it?" But they
Still looked outrageous to be fair.
Musicians they've got it in their locker, though, haven't they?
Yeah.
To do that, it's a bit of a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure it's not the same with photography.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I can't imagine going and shooting a wedding up with a raging hangover. It's not a good place to be. No. Before we sort of get into today's sort of chat, I suppose let's just give everybody a bit of a background as to who you are and what you guys do.
Yeah.
When I asked that question, I'm like, this could go on for about half an hour, because when we got your forms back, there's like, what don't you do at the moment? There's a lot of. But just give us a rundown. Just.
So I come from a television background, so I work in TV sport. Make all your fancy montages that you see on BBC Sport for Wimbledon, the World Cup, Match of the Day, Football Focus. So I'm a TV producer, but over the from 2019, myself and Lee, we've been friends for 20 odd years, and 2019 we were snowballing ideas on what we wanted to do, work together wise, and then lockdown coming, it kind of accelerated what we were planning on doing, which is building an app for creatives, for content creators, for service providers. So we ended up building an app called Classified, which we can delve into. I'm not going to go straight from the back.
We had a chat, didn't we, at the time?
We did. And then more recently, another string to our bow is we've gone down a clothing brand, which has been tough but really, really rewarding, and we've had a great start. So we'll dive into that as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, for me, the last 10 years have been personal training in Cheshire. I got quite a good name for myself pretty much straight away, and was kind of covering 60 sessions a week with people still wanting to train. So I was doing like 13, 14 sessions a day, not really having any time off, training footballers, prem players, the wives, actors, high-end businessmen, taking women through pregnancy, post-pregnancy. It was been doing really well with it over the last 10 years. And I basically had to retire from football early at 25 for a back problem. And over the last few years, it's gone to another level where I've been really, really struggling with it. And I've kind of wanted to step away from personal training, still have it there, but kind of concentrate on other stuff. A couple of hours in the morning, a couple of people, move on to the next thing. So the last 3 years for me have been madness, really, with COVID landing, gyms closing, me and Ryan then setting the Classified app up, like he just said, that getting to launch, that doing really well, and then starting the clothing brand 2 years ago as well, working at that's something that I never thought would be as difficult, especially with what we've actually done with it, how premium we've gone. And
I think that about a lot of businesses, though, isn't it? It's like until you actually start doing it, it just opens up a whole new world, doesn't it?
Oh,
I found just doing like YouTube stuff, I've got like this just newfound respect for anybody that's just a YouTube natural.
Absolutely,
because it's like a real
bloody
hard. There's so many things that you don't see.
It's easy having an idea. So an idea is great, but if you don't act on that and you don't actually make the steps to make it an actual thing, that is where 90% of people fall down. They have this great idea, but they don't take the steps in order to bring that to reality.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot. You've got to give a lot up to do it. And that's what I've stuck by saying in the last 3 years. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
And that couldn't be more true, because you get to a point where you're 6 months in, you're 8 months in, you're 10 months in, you've not got anything back yet, you're still quite a way off. So many people would just go, it's not for me, it's not for me. It takes a certain type of person to push and push and push and push, and then get to launch, and then your idea's reality, and then it comes even harder then to sustain what you're doing, to take it to the next level. If something doesn't work, the amount of people that just go, I haven't got time for this anymore. So it takes a certain person to push and push. And this is my third startup in 3 years, with the app, with concierge business, and with the clothing brand. So it's been a bit of a funny 3 years. I've given up a hell of a lot for it.
It's a startup addict.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of it.
What do you guys don't do?
Yeah.
What haven't you started at?
I love that side of life, and I do have ideas. I've not got. I mean, the reason me and Ryan work so well is that he's pretty much the brains behind them, where he can take a product and map out how it needs to be done properly. I've got a great contact list and a great work ethic, and it works. And the things I can do business wise, go and sit in a room and sell the product or whatever to 500 people is his worst nightmare. But the other way around, I physically can't do what he does because he's the clever one, and obviously I'm the good looking one.
I know he does this every single time. Of course, I could see that.
Saying.
I saw that coming about before he started.
He was practicing that on the way here.
It goes without saying, obviously, but I just like to get it in there still. But yeah, no, I love, and I've got that. I was brought up with this determination of, you do crack on with things and you don't just give up.
Yeah.
But with the way my brain works, I could have 5 ideas all going on at once. Like I've got this this weird brain. Instead of just going, let's concentrate on one thing for 2 years, and then I'm halfway through that, I've got 2 more ideas which I need to start them then.
Yeah.
That's just the way my overactive brain works. But
I think that's...
I've got...
Oh, sorry, go on.
But I've got that in me to not give up. The amount of times we could have given up on classified, the amount of times the clothing...
You hear it so often in business, don't you? Like the amount of successful businesses that look back on their journey and go, God, there was points there that almost broke us. Thank God we stuck it out. And
that is why successful businesses exist, because they go through these stages that everyone goes through of, if we're referring to the app, you fail in so many areas, but those failures become your biggest learning curves. And then you take things that work extremely well and you really hone in on them. But you would, if you didn't go through this process, you would never find out that these things don't work and these things do work. And then as a result of that, it puts you on a different path. And that's what we've found over the last few years, is that your idea at the start never ends up being the idea at the end. It evolves. It grows a life of its own.
The time frame as well. The time frame ideas you have. You're like, we can have that done by then. Like if any young entrepreneur was to come to us now and go, we're thinking of doing this business, we've got this amount of money and we think it's going to take that long, we'd be like, times that by 3.
Everybody wants instant success, don't they?
Yeah,
it's just the age we...
It's like having a podcast. So, to monetize a podcast and to create a really
please tell us how we do that.
Well, it's difficult, but if you were to look on TikTok and you see these how to monetize a podcast, get sponsors, and it sounds simplistic on the face of it, but when you actually get down to doing it and you are recording, you're editing, you're making it look as fancy as possible, you're putting it on all your platforms, and then your core audiences watch it, but then how do you get outside of that? Well, you need marketing, or you need people to share it constantly, and these are the things that you just learn as you go, and that's where I think a lot of people just fall short and give up, because they go, I weren't expecting this, this part to fail. They go into panic mode and they go, well, this feels a bit too much like hard work now. So rather than adapting and evolving and moving forward, they go, I'm out.
Well, there's an element of trauma about it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And people don't like trauma.
No.
You do have to really accept that as part of the process. And
your vision can be like what you visioned at the start as well. Some people can get married to that vision, and then when it doesn't materialize how you expect it, doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but you're then like, oh my God, it's not going how planned. Abort, and that.
You've got to be adaptable, really. You've got to be able to go with the ebbs and flows in order to make it work. Because
people don't, they don't often share those failures. So I suppose you're then in a space of seeing people claiming to be successful, and internally you're going, shit, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're making it. Everyone else is working. Everyone else is doing really well.
Yeah.
But
and it's like the whole someone looking at multi-millionaire, and he's got his Lamborghini, he's got his Bentley, he's in a £5 million house, and for someone who's never really set up a business, or they've kind of just, that's my job, I go and do that 9 to 5, and they're never really interested in delving outside of that. They look at him and they're like, he's so lucky, like he's got all that. Okay, now there's no luck in that. No. Like, we now know what all my clients with big money, big beautiful houses, I know what they've gone through to get that. Not what they've gone through, and there's well,
you only have to look at even like the world that you've worked in like dealing with footballers. Like they're not just lucky.
No,
the work and the effort that has to go into them to get to even an age where you can be considered by a relatively top level club.
Yeah,
it's just you've given up your almost your childhood and
of course.
your youth and teenage years, haven't you? And
You do. You end up being quite a few years behind on all what we class as the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're in the house 7 days a week and you're not going out doing this and that, and there's an element of luck when
discipline.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the
Sacrifice.
footballers are in the less than 1% of everyone who, me and you class each other as good footballers, played at decent levels, but there's a stark contrast in that to, like, so for an example is I used to run the BBC Sport football team for a while, and there were some good players and stuff who'd played at semi-professional level, but then we had Kevin Kilban come down one game. He's an ex-Everton footballer. He's now retired, but he come down and had a game with us and stuff. And the level...
He's not a marquee signing, is he?
He's not. Well, he was for us.
Yeah.
But the difference in just like fizzing the ball into him and it being immediately dead, and he's playing first time passes and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just he's dedicated his life to that art, and I think you could learn a lot from footballers because they've gone all in, and for a lot of them who at 16, 18 are told, you're good, but you're not quite good enough. And Lee was obviously in that boat, and had injury problems as well, which doubled down on that. They then go into panic mode and go, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah.
And Lee can explain that more than anyone, because
Does that build like a resilience?
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, I've just turned 39, and it's still the fact I don't play football no more is on my mind. Obviously, with the injuries I sustained early on, meant I had to retire so early. But being so close and then being a million miles away from it is hard work on your head massively. Like I still get upset over it. That I can't go and ping a ball about, or I'll never play in front of 10,000 on a Saturday. It's still heartbreaking all those years on. So you do it, and it's all down to. I massively think it's all down to how you've been brought up to get on with things. I really do, and that comes into the way I was brought up. Comes into every part of my life, whether it's building a business and then the business fails and you go again, or I've got friends that go openly. 2 months ago, just before the football, I was having a chat with my mate in Costa before the football we were going watching, and he said I couldn't do what you do. He said I'd have to know that £2,000 is coming in on the first of every month, no matter what he's doing. And that made me realise then that you are in a very small minority who would give up the life. That the past 12 months of what I personally have given up for the clothing brand is enormous. It's massive, and people just wouldn't do that. So that's what I was going back to earlier with the look. Like if let's say, for instance, the Class brand became a massive worldwide clothing brand over the next 6 months,
which it will
get there. You were lucky with that tracksuit you designed. No one knows giving up alcohol for 13 months. No one knows moving back in with your sister because you couldn't take on more PT clients because you was working on the clothing brand. Like, no one knows all that side of things. It's just, you were lucky. Like, people liked that tracksuit. Yeah. Like, you have no idea what the 18 months to 2 years looked like to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm.
We see it. I've seen it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Like, I think when we asked you about all the things that you've done, like one big thing for me watching both of you over the last sort of 3-4 years is just like how inspiring it is to see you guys just going and trying different things. It's kind of made me go, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here. I'm not just going to stay in my lane as a wedding photographer. Like, I love that. It's my core product. But actually, there are other things that I want to go and explore. Yeah. And it's massively inspiring. So, there will be some people that think it's lucky, but there's also a lot of people that will see it and go, good on you, Matt.
Yeah.
It's great.
And that's what I think kind of a downfall of social media can bring is, particularly Instagram, is you do post your highlights. We all do it, and if you do post any frailties or flaws, it can almost have the opposite effect of
negative
attention
side to it.
seeking or anything like that. But yeah, it's just, you know, social media, when we're, you know, going through when we're trying to sell our brand and sell our app or sell our, you know, whatever it is we're doing, you only see the end product, but you don't see that, like,
Bring your mic. Just points at you.
You don't see that struggle that it takes just to get to the starting line.
I'd love to do a presentation on that. Like, when the class brand becomes what I know it will be, I would love to do a presentation on what that took, and people would be.
That's why business
a lot of
leaders
people would be
booked, don't they?
gobsmacked.
For speaking for talks,
They'd be
and conferences.
They'd be gobsmacked.
Yeah.
People would be gobsmacked. Even us, the idea when at the start I was like, right, we'll do this, and we'll only need that, and in 3 months we'll have that, so on and so on.
What's been the big surprise on just whilst we're on the class brand?
How long it's taken?
Yeah.
How long it's taken. But I think where we've done things are very different. The design was very fitted. So instead of getting a tracksuit that you love and taking it to the tailor, can you bring it up there? Can you bring it in there? Can you cut it just above the ankle, just on the wrist, above where your watch would sit? We had all that done.
Design decisions were really precise.
Yeah, exactly. So we've kind of recreated a small, medium, large, and extra large tracksuit. But then when everyone puts that on, they can see all these little details, and that's why they're so obsessed with the fit and the material. That added so much time onto it. So much time.
Off the peg.
I think as well, because we went down the premium line, you know, you can't fake premium, so you have to get the premium material. You have to find a manufacturer who can make this product quality. You know, and we probably could have done things easier. We could have, you know, bought X amount of t-shirts, blank t-shirts from an overseas manufacturer.
Through the loom.
Yeah,
you know.
Get them over, print our logo on, sell them. Could have done it that way, but that's just not. It's not us. We wanted to go down the premium route because that was what we were passionate about. We wanted clothes that were sustainable. We wanted clothes that were going to be made so that you're not just going to wear it once and then never wear it again, because that is, you know, that has unethical issues as well. It's why fast fashion is falling through the floor at the minute, because there's a wear it once mentality. You buy this £10 dress or t-shirt and whatnot, you wear it once, it's falling apart and it goes in the bin. It's waste. Whereas we wanted a premium product where you could not just wear it on a flight to here, there, and it's comfy. You can wear it going out for dinner. You can wear it, you know, taking your kids to the park, and it looks great, feels great. So yeah, in our, like we always do, we maybe have overcomplicated in many aspects, but we've learned along the way that we're making a premium product. This little thing didn't work. This thing does. Let's go with the thing that does. Let's press on with that. Let's evolve that. And then that didn't work, so we get rid of that. And that's just through trial and error.
Even little things like so we designed the logo, wanted to go for like a beautiful rubber logo. We wanted the writing in rubber as well, so it stood up. We didn't just want it printed. So the logo arrived, we was like, oh my God, we love it. We then ordered 500 of the size large, 500 of the size small logos, boom, get them shipped in, pay for them. And then it gets attached to the tracksuit. And then we're like, I don't like how it kind of flicks up slightly at the end. Like, it just didn't sit like totally plush. So from then we had to go and order another 500 large, another 500 small. We had to wait another 12 weeks for those to arrive because it had the heat seal on. So all of a sudden then you've just added 12 weeks on there just in logos. And then you sat with, over here now we've got 1,000 logos that we'd never use them. Even on the caps that we're having made at the moment, the sample cap, we've made sure that's still the heat seal as well as the stitching. So all of a sudden there you've added 12 week on just because of the logos, let alone the power meshing in the cuffs and sampling the power meshing, the elastic, and then having it cut this way, having it cut that way, and that didn't work. That zip didn't look right. Wait for the zip to come back in from Italy. That material didn't sit right. That didn't wash right. And it just goes on and on and on. Yeah. So anyone who has gone down that premium line and they've done so well, take me out of to them, because I know what
what goes into it.
I know what they've done to get there.
Dead lucky though, eh?
but so lucky.
Yeah,
So lucky.
super lucky.
So lucky.
What a stroke of luck.
It's but it is enjoyable. Like this, like I say, this is the second product second ID we've brought to life in the last few years, and we do have a buzz about it, and we've both got the same work ethic. We're best mates of 20 years, and you know we know what works with each other, and it is exciting. Like I'm already thinking, I wonder what the next thing for me and him could be.
Another idea.
Another. I've got one. I've got the next idea ready to go. I actually did sort of 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not going to go into it.
It's going to be a long session.
I'm not going to go into it, but I've got the next one's ready to go. It's something I did 3 or 4 years ago and then parked it. But yeah, there's when you've got that in you.
That's an interesting point, though, isn't it? Like I've found that over the years that sometimes those ideas that do come to you, like sometimes you can put it on the shelf.
Yeah,
you don't have to act. Like I know, like I remember there's a book, isn't it, by Elizabeth Gilbert? I think it's called Big Magic, about how ideas come to you and you have to act on them, because if you don't, they move on and somebody else takes them. And I do hear that. But then there are times when you're like, actually, sometimes you're just not in the place to start that project.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're not reinventing something a lot of the time. Like we've not just it's not all of a sudden, oh my God, they've made a tracksuit. No one's done that for years. It's been done every day.
I can't believe you're not both here wearing the tracksuit, to be honest. I'm a bit disappointed.
It would have looked ridiculous. It was both sat we've only got one product at the minute.
Bag on the side, and an A-board behind us.
We like our marketing, but I think that would have been overkill as both sat here in the tracksuit. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. It is exciting, and I do love that side of it. But people just don't realise what goes into it. I think.
We have because we know what each other bring to the table, and we know our work ethic is outrageous. Like we don't stop. I'll ring him at 11 o'clock at night and go, we need to do this, which could, in many sense could be quite unhealthy, but that's just the way we like to work. But what we found whenever we've been working with contributors or third parties is having that expectation that, well, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Why aren't you?
You don't get that.
And it is a behaviour.
Different.
It's a behaviour that you're never going to be satisfied with.
Yeah.
And we're the type of people that when something's going wrong or something needs doing, it is done like straight away. Whereas
Fixes.
Whereas problem solvers, like, okay, we've got this massive issue. How do we overcome it? And then you have contributors who are not like that, or they are being paid by the clock. So the best case scenario, the best example I can use is using a third party tech company. They work certain hours a day. They have other clients, and you're like, this isn't working. It needs doing now. We understand it's going to be a cost, but please get it done. And then you're on another person's timescale and stuff, and it just is, for us, it's really, really difficult to find those people who have the same belief and work ethic as me and him. Even
closer to home, bringing somebody in as a shareholder.
Yeah.
If you do this, it's nothing like where you are with it, and I would drill that into anybody who, if someone came to me and was like, look, I've got this business, they've got 1%, and I can't get hold of them for days at a time. I'd be like, you're going to get that. I'd tell them that before it even started.
It's a blessing and a curse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's a blessing in the sense of, like, you're trying to instill a level of quality and work ethic into other people, but it's a curse that also you kind of, we've talked about it before on the podcast with other people, like sometimes you have to let go of those, that you can't put those expectations onto other people because they just don't operate like that.
And it's not to say that like that we demand a non-favourable work-life balance. That's not the case at all.
We just expect them to work 24/7.
Yeah. No, you should have a great work-life balance. It's very important, and I'm a big advocate of having a great work-life balance. However, when it is work time, the output has to be as relentless and as productive as what we're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And that's what we found when we have brought in people and we've toyed with the idea of giving them shares for their skill set. And then when we then think, are they are they prepared to go as deep as what we are?
And the answer's no. The bottom line, they never are. And no one's going to care about your business more than you.
Than you do.
Yeah, definitely. That's a massive learning curve, that. So the expectation, you have to let that go.
Yeah.
You have to still be at them. They need to do the work, especially if they've signed documents and they're a shareholder or they're taking money or whatever. But the actual expectation of someone caring and putting in the graft and doing things when they need doing, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
doesn't happen, and that's one of the most frustrating, especially when you're at the level where we are with how hard we work with it. He's rang me before now, and I've pulled into services to send an email because it needed to be done, where other people would go, I'll do that later, and they get home and they have a shower and they have tea, and then the next day you go, have you done that? And you go, I'm just nipping out, I'll do it after. And then 24 hours has gone past where with us it would have been done there and then. So you do have to drill that into yourself, that people aren't going to care as much as you do, and not a lot of people have the same work ethic.
Yeah. Where do you think that drive comes from? Because I can see it already. Just you guys talking, you very much batter towards each other, a bit here, a bit there, and you very much encourage each other. But where does it come from?
For me personally, grew up on a council estate in Manchester. My mum and dad had 2 jobs each. They're from an era completely different to this era where they just got on with it and they made ends meet, until they'd do whatever they had to do. If my dad had to do 21-hour shift, he would go and do that, and there'd be food on the table. And I think, like I said to you earlier on, I think a lot of it comes from your parents. It definitely does with me, and I saw that from an early age, and it stayed with me. It's totally stayed with me from what they were like. And that work ethic is still with me now, and I still see it with what they're
really
like
clear.
now.
It's really clear, isn't it?
Mine's a bit different. Mine is it was always been me and my mum. My dad left early doors, and then my stepdad come in. He wasn't really hands on, and my granddad's kind of my hero. He's no longer with us, but my granddad's was always my hero, and he was just relentless and ruthless. When he used to go and watch Man City every weekend. I'm a United fan, but he'd drag me along anyway. And I found it weird that every pub would go in, everyone would always come over and shake his hand and offer him a beer, and then they'd come and treat me like a little king. And I was like, what's going on here? I later learned that my granddad was a bit of a rumman. He was a bit a bit rough around the edges, but he treated me like his son, and he was like my dad. He was everything to me. But because when you get to an adult and your grandparents become a little bit more distant and stuff, I've always been I've been the go-to in my family for any problems. So my brother will come to me, or my mum will come to me. So I've kind of been a leader within my family from quite a young age. I've had to be, and apart from my granddad, every leading male has always let me down. So I've found resilience in being quite ruthless and making decisions and looking after people. And
because in some ways you kind of had to.
Yeah, and I one thing that I say this to you quite often, don't I? I take on so much shit from other people. If someone's struggling, I can't let it go. I go, right, talk to me. What is it? Unload on me. I'll listen. I'll provide some form of advice as well as I can. But I take on a lot. And I must have one of them faces where people just come up to me and we get talking, and all of a sudden they're telling me about the drinking problems. They're telling me about their issues in life, and I'm like, Jesus.
It's a big cuddly bear, mate.
I know, that's it. So yeah, I found that I've generated kind of leadership skills.
Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
Feel like,
Yeah, that's why
Share
I'm
it to
my
the group.
Yeah.
In fact, no, don't share it to the group. If you two have got any problems, now's your time. Dear Deirdre will sort it out.
That's why my wife's amazing, because she is she knows when there's something wrong with me, and she's like, "What's up? Let's talk." And that's why we've got such a tremendous relationship, because she's my soundboard, and I'm everybody else's. And I have Lee as well, obviously. So yeah, I've just built up resilience through that. I've had to stand on my own 2 feet, and I just got a bit of a ruthless streak in me, where I just have zero tolerance to excuses, within reason.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know each other for a long time, as you said, but how did you meet, and how did this sort of like relationship develop to where it is today?
So we had like
a love story.
Yeah. It is a love story.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. So we had a mutual friend who I worked with, and Lee was friends with. So we ended up on a night out, again, 20 odd years ago now. No, it wouldn't have been 20 years, because that would have been 15. About 18 years ago. We just we were into the same things. I think our relationship has evolved as well, because if you look at us between 18 and 28, nightmares. Like, would go out every weekend, would do the things that young people do, but to the extremes. So and it must just be the personalities we've got. Like, we'd go out on a Friday night, and you couldn't go in at 3 a.m. We'd be getting in at 7 a.m. And it's a really bad habit when we look back at it, isn't it? But it like, that was just the way we were. We'd go on holidays together. We'd always ring each other up. I think since about 2012, there's not been many days that go by where we haven't spoke.
No, it's 7 days a week. 100%.
Numerous times a day. Paige will go, is he ringing again? What's he ringing for?
Don't put it all on me.
It's 11 at night. What's going on?
But yeah, that's just this is the way we've been, in it. We just like look out for each other. We're really close to each other's families, and ultimately, when you look at who you want to go into business with, often you're advised, don't get into business with your friends because it can end badly. And when we were starting the app, our shareholders would say that, and we'd get really defensive, where they'd go,
you might end up arguing about money, and we're like, that won't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather walk away and lose the money than lose the friendship. And it would just never, ever come to that.
Yeah. So, we're just heavily invested in each other's lives, and, if we can create something successful, who better to do that than with your friend? You've gone on this journey together, you've struggled together, and then you get to reap the rewards at the end of it. It's always been amazing feeling.
It's always been a very much with us, when you talk about what would you do if you won this, if you won that. It's always been a very much, if I win, we win, and vice versa. So it's, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's always been that mentality. Yeah. If I win 10 grand, I've not won 10 grand, we've won 5 grand each. It's always been like that kind of mentality. And I think you need that in business. Yeah. You need, there's so much that works in business, and we just tick every single box going on that. Yeah. Literally every single box. I said to him on the way down, obviously Ryan's still at the BBC doing really well. I'm still doing the couple of hours of PTing, and then I've got the other things going on, and we've got the clothing brand together, and Ryan's been still working in the background in the app to see where we're up to with all that. And on the way down, I was like, how long do you reckon it'll be until we are full time every single day? But because that's what the ultimate goal is. Yeah. And who better to go and do all that with your best mate, someone who you trust and care about, and not only that, you work together. We're not the same person when it comes to work.
Yeah, and we've taken investment in certain areas, certain businesses that we've done. We've never took a wage, because we've always put the product first. So within the app, again, we were working flat out, all in our spare time, to get that to where it needed to be. Same with the clothing now. We'll take a few expenses from stuff, but right now we're at a point where drop one's happened. It's gone really well, but all that money needs to go into product. We do not take wages. So, that is where we continually are until we're at a point where we can, pay ourselves favourable wages, because it also has to match, what we're earning right now.
Yeah. That comes down to like believing in the long-term plan, doesn't it? The goal.
Of course, yeah, and we're fully long-term. That's another thing that I feel where people fall short when they're trying to get an idea off the ground or trying to create something and bring it to life, is that if you've just got a very short-term goal and you don't have that, what does this look like in 3 years, or what does it look like in 5? You don't have to be specific, but you have to have that goal, because you have to have any successful business needs longevity. And if you're just getting from point to point and you don't really know where you're going from there, that is hugely problematic.
Yeah, and I think as well, because you were doing something that it's not easy. No. It's done hard work. You kind of have to have that sort of like end goal that you can see. Yeah, we can do this. We can do it together, really, because it is done hard, really.
Yeah. And we keep mentioning the app. We probably should explain.
I was going to be one of my questions a bit, was to dive into each particular product,
so the app stemmed from it kind of accelerated when lockdown happened. So overnight you had personal trainers, yoga instructors, public speakers, motivational coaches, therapists, whose roles were one-to-one or one-to-many, face-to-face. That completely went. And then overnight, the whole, in order for Lee to earn a wage, it all of a sudden had to be digital. So it accelerated the digital market. And we were already, snowballing ideas on how to make an app. And then when that happened, it was like, right, it's now become a little bit crystal clear on what it is we want to do. So what we wanted to do with our app is we wanted to create a central app that allowed content creators to set up a profile that's dead simplistic, and they can set up a price, a subscription, they can offer one-off services, all within this beautiful crafted native app. And then people could subscribe to them, people could buy the one-off products, and then behind those payments was then the services. So video content, a wall for a community wall for all the subscribers to be part of a group and stuff. Now it wasn't like we were the first to do this. You have companies like Patreon,
that's what I was going to say,
who are very similar. Patreon, though, were very, very web-centric, and that's because they are more long-form video. So Patreon was founded by musicians originally, and the musicians...
they found it so wacky. I absolutely love his Instagram because it's...
Yeah.
So many, like you guys, so many ideas.
Yeah. So they were musicians who were getting, sizable views on their YouTube channel, but getting absolutely nothing in return. They were getting pittance for sizable views, and they were like, this isn't right. So Patreon was founded and built upon the fact that they wanted musicians to put their content on there, and as a result they would get direct to consumer funding through subscriptions. But when we were looking at the competitors out there, so Patreon, there's also Buy Me a Coffee, which is more of a tipping platform. You look at Patreon and you go, right, well, what is it that they do, and what is it where they're failing, or what they're not providing? And with Patreon, it was solely subscription. It was heavily web-based. They have an app as a viewer, but it's not really doesn't accommodate for short-form video or anything. It's all long-form. They have a Vimeo integration, which is where you would post your videos. So we were like, we've got to appeal to the short-form market, but also just a simplistic app, because 90% of people, or even more, are on the smartphones, and that's how they're consuming. It's also how they want to post.
So true. Now that you say it, I'm sort of thinking, where do I actually consume Patreon? It's always on a desktop, never on my phone. And we are constantly on our phones. So
if I was to ask you both now what your screen time is weekly, it would, mine over the last couple of weeks has been 6 hours a day, and that is,
That's because you don't use the laptop for porn though as well.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's quite.
Yeah.
There's a
I can't get off it.
There's a good
late for it.
But yeah, so we're constantly on these smartphones. So when we were like brainstorming all these ideas, it was like, right, it needs to be an app, has to be an app. We have to have content. We have to have seamless payment facilities where you can see a balance. You can see a real time. When someone subscribes, it tops your balance up. You have cash out options. So we were like, we know what we're doing now. And then from there, when you have your idea, it's then about, because I'm not a developer, Lee isn't a developer. We then need one, funding for this idea, and two, find a reliable a reliable tech partner who can believe in what we're trying to do, understand what we're doing, and give us the best third-party integrations to make this happen. So we were pretty confident we could get the money because of the concept where we lived. It was quite an affluent area. Lee had some really high-end clients, and one of our good friends, John, we'd mentioned this idea to him early doors, and he was like, I think I get it. Like, I understand what you're trying to do. Let me speak to a couple of my friends in the tech industry, and we'll go from there. So he'd mentioned it to a few people, and they were all like, this sounds really good. I want to be involved. So we went through a few like bad matches, and then we had another shareholder come in who was part of a tech company who basically had 80% of what we wanted already built. So we were like, this is a match made in heaven. We've got a mutual shareholder. We've got a tech company who've got 80% of what we require built. We just need to, refine that, add to it a little bit. But what we wanted, obviously, at the time, because of lockdown, is we wanted speed to market. We were like, we have to act on this now, because if we get this boom, we get users, and people, we become that reliant platform, then we can really, we can demonstrate we've got all these users within this time. They're all using it. This is the amount of subscribers each one has. And then off the back of that, we could then raise money at a higher valuation, and then we could really send this to the moon.
Yeah.
So we needed speed to market. And along the way in developing, you then start to realize how difficult it is to build a widespread platform for absolutely every single person in the world who are content creators. You start going, oh, right.
Everyone's got their own little nuances, haven't they, and their own little requirements that are unique to them.
And the things that you think at the very start, you're like, right, we want to create an app. It needs video capability. It needs payment capability. It needs a wall. So you're saying all these things to the app company, and then they're going through a user flow of, right, I am user A. What happens now? What happens now? So you have to go through all these stages, and then you have to then think, right, well, we're an app, so we're going to be on the Apple App Store, and we're going to be on Google Play. What are the laws here around this? What are the payment laws around this? And then you start. So I become an expert in Apple and Google policies, because I was up at 2 a.m. I'd ring him in the morning and go. He'd be like, what's going on? I was like, I've been up all night reading Apple's payment laws, and he's like, Jesus. But you have.
Meanwhile, I've got 8 coffees booked in with 8 women personal trainers to tell about the app.
Yeah,
living my dream.
So we have very different, obviously, jobs. Mine was like, let's get this app done, and let's get it built, and let's get it speed to market. And Lee's was, let's get the people on there. So he was then selling the app to people, getting the creators on there, getting to really buy into.
Can't have one without the other, can you?
Exactly.
No, they both go hand in hand.
Yeah. So we get to a point where we get to a testing period of the app, and by this point we're way over in terms of time. We wanted to launch in end of October, November 2020, and we're now in May 2021. So it's it's moved on, and as time moves on, you then start going, okay, well, we're gonna have to refine this a little bit, because what would have worked a year ago now doesn't work now, so we need to refine this a bit. So we ended up launching in June 2021, and we had an unbelievable response. We when we put the app on the App Store and we'd put on our socials, it's available, and we got a few people to share that it was available, and we had this video made and stuff. We were watching our Apple and Google downloads, and they were just like
We had over 2,000 in 24 hours.
yeah, and we were like, wow. And then we've got all of a sudden overnight 60 creators of one day, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. And then we start getting paying subscribers to these creators. But meanwhile, the decisions that you make in a build of technology, when you start actually having real life users, and we've done testing, but test environment is not a real environment.
You won't know until it actually is live.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of people on there at the same time. And
so it starts with video capability. So we were like, we can probably go up to 20 minutes of video capability per person, but
pre-recorded,
yeah. So when that starts to happen and people are looking to upload sizable videos, you then think, well, actually, they're uploading from the phone here, and they're uploading a 10-minute video takes ages to upload. And then that's, if someone's doing that and then someone else is doing that and then 100 people are doing that, it's really going to bring down the performance of the app. So we were like, okay, from the very start, we were like, this video duration is off. And in some aspects, it just wasn't uploading. There was, we had, they'll remain nameless, but we had some celebrities who used our app. They'd give it the big sell on their socials, and this is like 5 million people they have as their audience, and they'd not even listened to what we'd said. So they're trying to upload our video, an hour beautifully crafted video on Premiere Pro, that they're then going, how do we get this onto our phone? And we're like, what? You can't upload an hour video. And then they promised in this like secret group that they'd generated on Instagram that we're going to have our videos on classified and this, that, and the other. It's going to be
8K.
great. Yeah. And we're like, no. You can't do that. So video capability quickly become an issue. And we're like, we have to have a third party integration. We can't take on video capability, because also with that you get charged per viewer so let's say you've got 10 creators, they upload a 10-minute video each, and they have 100 subscribers each. So the way you pay for video is per viewer per minute. Wow. So that can rack up rapidly if every single one of their subscribers...
Is your next idea a video platform? Is that what it is?
I've had 3 ideas since we've been sat here for the past hour.
So that become problem number one, right? And again, we did a load of testing with this, and it worked fine. But in a test environment, and you can stress test it, it's not the same, because users are used to, I'm clicking this, it uploads, and it goes on there.
Works.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it works. So your level has to be there, otherwise people switch off.
Yeah, you can't plan and strategize for somebody going, I want to upload a 4K video that's an hour long.
Yeah,
until that actually happens.
Exactly. And users, like, as much as you drill it home and as much as you do as many explanations via video content or written content as you like, they will do what their behavior tells them to do. So, and their human behavior at that time, based on the apps that they were using, is I've uploaded this, I click this, and it goes on there. Boop. Yeah. And in order for you as a platform to provide that, that takes real refining and real capabilities and real back-end power. And we just...
And money.
Yeah, and money. And as a startup, we probably put it out to far too many people too quick. So we had a couple of Man City footballers put it out there for us, and
that goes to the masses.
That goes to the masses. So on day 2, we had 800 downloads from Algeria.
Wow. That's a stat I didn't expect you to drop.
Yeah. So we were like, shit. And then and then so the problem that stems from that is then you're a payment provider as well. So we've decided we're going to take on 100% of payments and we're going to distribute them accordingly to our creators. Terrible mistake. What we should have done is had a third-party integration like Stripe that splits the payment at the point of sale. So we just take our cut and then it goes into their Stripe
Otherwise,
wallet.
you would have, I guess, you'd have to do it yourself manually, which is
Exactly.
Here it comes.
But what? So what? If you can master that payment structure in the back end, your valuation of your company will fly through the roof because you've got capabilities that are really difficult to do.
Yeah.
So if you're managing 100% of your money and then distributing it seamlessly, your value as a company,
you're in control, aren't you?
yeah, in complete control, and your actual monetary customers are your own. So when we were doing this and when we were looking for a payment partner, and along with the advice of the tech company, this wasn't a problem, apparently. But then as you start to process payments and as you start to all of a sudden get payments from Algeria, from Canada, from Cameroon, from everywhere you can think of, like France, they all fall under different tax laws. So, and the way you have to do your tax on a platform like ours, which is worldwide, and you're processing payments from all areas of the world, is it's where the user is. That's the tax law falls on the payee.
It's not even where you are or where your business is based. It's literally from the user.
Yeah.
User location.
So like we had a subscriber from Norway, right? Norway have I think their tax is 28% or something. So that transaction, that singular transaction to that creator, we have to factor in the fact that we have to account for that 26% of that transaction. So you then have to, the complexities are just oh my God.
Yeah. You're not just an app, you are a payment provider, really.
Yeah. And now, and the payments company, so they'll process your payments. They'll just, whatever amount it is that the creator has set, the payment provider will process that payment, and then they'll take their payment fees, which is something like 1.5 plus 20p. But when you then they'll give you 100% of the money, and then they'll give you a bill at the end of the month. So they'll go, we've processed this amount, this is our fee, we're going to take this on the 4th by a direct debit. Fine. But then you get 100% of that money, so their work's done. It's your responsibility then to have a system in place to account for all your creators. And the way we did that was, so each creator, when they opened an account, would be assigned.
And you had an Excel sheet with everybody.
Yeah. So you create this Excel spreadsheet that assigns a number to these creators. So 0001, 0002. And then when a transaction happens on the payment provider, it attaches that number. So let's say someone charges $15.99. There's been a $15.99 transaction to create a 0001. So we'll have that information, and you can. That's quite an easy part, association of numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely put me off.
Yeah,
You've put me off.
but you can see.
I wouldn't do that.
You can see the undertaking.
Basically, it gets messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that you're trying to create a worldwide platform. You've dreamt big. And you've gone, okay, well, we've got the valuation of our company and whatnot. And if we can master all this, it's going to be worth something. But where it all falls down is if the user experience is slacking because of it, then people are going to switch off. So whilst all this was happening, we were then going to the tech company and going, we've got this problem, and this problem, and this problem. We understand it's going to cost money. We need it fixing. And the back fell out, to put it. They were like, "What have we taken on here?" It was, and that's what kind of when everything's going all well, and you're dreaming big, and you've all got this common goal, and this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
The back end of that is just so different.
Everyone's enthusiasm is through the roof. They're looking forward to it because they're the tech provider, and we're saying we've got this great marketing group because of the contacts that mostly Lee has generated. They're going to be putting our platform out there. You know, it's got powered by that platform, that provider.
All the ingredients are there, aren't they?
Yeah, so that everyone's excited. We're building to this moment. You know, everyone's enthusiastic. They can't do enough for you until the point where things start to go wrong, and then you've got me and Lee going, "Okay, it's a problem. No problem. We'll find a way, find a solution, and we'll fix it. And we'll whatever we need to do, we will do."
How long do you do that for? Does there become a point when you have to go?
Well, yeah, it becomes.
We need to stop. We're going down a road that is just
ultimately
ultimately
never ultimate rabbit hole. Like,
So,
never going to get out.
But
of.
like, so the payments issue and the video issue is solved by we stop what we're doing with that, and we get actual third party integrations in there that are best in class, that makes the user experience seamless. We get that it costs money. Let's do that. But then that becomes an undertaking for them, that they're like, we've got this on, we've got that on, and you're like, no. Like, you have got some service level guarantees here, and then it becomes messy, and then it becomes, we thought we were just making this to,
so
this
your relationship's really under strain here, isn't it? And
massively. And then, be careful what I say here, but like, it didn't, we went like that.
Yeah.
So then we have to then go as a company, okay, well,
we know what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, we know that this worked really well because we had mass users, we were processing payments. So we in terms of saying what worked and what didn't, we'd really honed in on what really did work, and what didn't work, we knew what the solutions were.
Sam.
So, Igor,
Studio Ninja.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor. And I was wondering about what we need to say in this little section, because I really want to talk about just how vital it is to my business. And one thing that came up recently was in my own business was that I was thinking about whether I need to get a VA on board. Mm-hmm. Like, do I need somebody that's going to help me just perform some of the admin tasks? And when I looked at it, and it really boiled down to what do I need somebody on board for, I realised that I don't actually do much admin.
Yeah.
And I don't do much admin purely because of Studio Ninja.
Yeah.
Everything's automated. Yeah, my invoices, my diary, my questionnaires that I send out,
email templates,
chasing up invoices. Everything's fully automated to the point where it doesn't take a huge amount of my time anyway. So it kind of defeats the whole point of a VA. So for me, it is a very integral part of my business. Yeah. And I think when you're running a business, you're self-employed like we are, being efficient, being productive, making sure that things run in the right order. If you find yourself doing any kind of repeat task, you have to say to yourself, why am I repeating this?
Automate it.
And if you can automate it, then that's it. And that's really where Studio Ninja fits in with me and my business. And they have very kindly given us a discount code, haven't they, for this podcast? So what's that discount code, Igor?
Another idea.
And another idea gets you 50% off your first annual subscription.
Yeah.
So it's just a no-brainer. I mean, I wouldn't even be hanging around. Just go and look at Studio Ninja.
Just go and do it right now.
But thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring this podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep it up.
We love Studio Ninja.
And what didn't work, we knew what the solutions were.
And this is just like, it's moving into the second launch, isn't it? Like no launch of any product or service is great off the bat.
And where we found we failed, not failed, but like in terms of failing fast in certain areas, we found that putting it out there to, what was it, over 30 million people? Over 30 million people in one fell swoop is probably not the best idea when you're a startup company. Because
but then we'll never make that mistake again now.
Yeah. No. Because you inevitably get mass demand very, very quickly. Yeah. And especially in the space of tech where this is monetizing tech. So you're providing a platform that people are like, well, if it's that simple to open an account, it's that simple to post, it's that simple to receive payment, I'm interested. I'm invested. This is what I've been looking for. And the amount of times that Lee would go out and sell this to whoever, and they'd be like, oh, it's the platform I've been waiting for. So we were like, we know we're onto something, but we just have to refine it.
So where does it sit now?
So now it sits now we're no longer with that tech partner.
Yeah.
And we've got a new tech partner who are very, very capable, and they're based in the Ukraine, so that didn't help at the start of last year. But they moved to Poland, and they still operate. They've got a great body of work, and we've completely refined the app. We've actually rebranded the app now. It's not called Classified anymore. It's called Zeo, and now we're in the process of building again. So we're building on everything that we've learned. We've also moved it along slightly with the times. So now we're at a point where we build again. We build to a launch. We don't put 30 million people on it from, 30 million eyes on it from day one. And then
Let it be gradual.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we've tried to implement with the clothing brand. Like we've had some big names post it, but it's a product at the end of the day. And
it's a lot different than tech.
Tech is all about using it and time spent on the app, because that will inevitably bring you ad revenue if you can hold an audience for a certain amount of time. And that is, why Facebook, it's why your screen time is so high and why mine's so high, is because these platforms, they're in the attention economy, it's called. And the attention economy is all about grabbing your attention. It's all about sending him a push notification saying that someone's liked his photo, because that'll mean he'll open the app up again and he'll spend more time on there. And when we've got him, we'll then feed him ads. We'll then feed him content that he wants. So we know what we have to do now. We've got a great tech partner. We brought in one of our good friends, Ben, who's really strategic, a lot more than me, and that I'm.
You are quite strategic already.
Yeah, but he's really, and he does this for big blue chip companies. So, he's been a great use.
What was the conversation like between you two when you were having those troubles? Did there come a point when you were like, did you consider walking away from it, or was there always that steadfast, strong belief that this is just the part of that process and we need to go again?
I think you get to a point where the version that you've got, you like, it works, it just doesn't, there's areas that don't work in it, and we've got people on there, we've got great use cases. So we've got a chef who has gone on there. She started live cooking classes through a Zoom link, but the payment process is through there, and a community group is within our app, so they're all talking, they're sharing recipes and stuff like that. Great use case. So when we need to provide a use case, she benefited from it, and there is 10,000 of her like this. So there's just one snippet of a user that we can have, and if we get 10,000 of her, you then get 1 million of people following. So the possibilities are endless. You just have to get the tech right. Although we failed again in certain areas, what we have got from that is that we have got great use cases of these users who really benefit from a platform like that.
And the app will only succeed if it succeeds for its users.
Exactly
that.
Yeah, as simple as that.
Yeah, and it has to be simplistic. So even to the point of a sign-up process nowadays, because of the rate technology is evolving. If you think of payments, for example, I don't know if you do any online shopping on your phone, but if you don't have Apple Pay or Google Pay, you're like, got to put my card in. Oh, what a ball ache. Like, that is the standard now, that you have to be across the board. Yeah. So in uploading a video, making a payment, that they all have to be really seamless, or people just switch off. And that's just the relationship that we now have with these devices, is that everything has to be snappy. Yeah. Otherwise you're not going to compete. So we know that, and we know the best third-party integrations. We know human behavior of just through use of a smartphone, what human behavior, what trigger points we need to have in order to make it an enjoyable sign-up process, an immersive one. So we're there now. We're there with our prep. we're there, we've got it all mapped out, we've got the tech company, we just need to start, and that requires a little bit more money than we've got at the minute.
Yeah. I'm excited for you guys because it's such an interesting world and so different, but at the same time, you two paired together are literally perfect for it, really. And I wanted to hear from you, Lee, really in the sense of, how do you find it in terms of getting people in and selling the vision for it, really? How does that come natural to you?
I think it does when you believe in a product so much. And I think I'm quite naturally a good salesman anyway. So that comes very, very natural to me. So when it's come to getting people on the app, sitting done that, I've got a big contact list. I know a hell of a lot of people. So with going back to the app, I could pull a personal trainer, a yoga instructor, a school teacher, a dance teacher, a therapist, and I'd go, this is what we've got, this is what you can do. And they were all like, wow. So then you've got the product there, and I've got the knowledge to get it out to them, and the enthusiasm. And it's been pretty much the same with the clothing as well. The product on the clothing is insane. So it's one thing putting on your Instagram, we've got tracksuits available, or it's another thing going seeing a celebrity, giving them the tracksuit to put on, and they're like, wow, what have you created here? It's two completely different different scenarios. So what I bring there is the enthusiasm and the contact list, which is, again, it's just how it works.
You can't downplay the value of a contact list like that.
Massive.
No.
You can't.
If you don't have users, or don't have eyes on your product, who's going to know about it?
Yeah.
Especially in this.
We've talked about it in previous episodes about how, Instagram and Facebook has changed massively now. Like everybody goes on about reach and their growth struggling and stuff. It's because you're not paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
I've even found just being on it for a lot, even if you create lots of content, it's still really hard to just get that.
Yeah, you've still got to get the eyes on it.
Like the only way that you can do it quickly now is by giving your money to that company. That's what they want.
Yeah. And it does work. Yeah, you do get, and obviously the more money you put in, the more eyes that see your product, the more followers you get, the more
sales you get.
Yeah. So
simple as that.
Yeah, and with those platforms, if you're not on those platforms, if you're not on your Instagram, if you're not on TikTok, if you're not on Facebook, you're not on LinkedIn, then you're doing yourself short. You have to be across in order to sell a product or sell a service nowadays. You have to be on these platforms, even if you're not a super user yourself. You have to give yourself the best possible chance of discovery.
Yeah, TikTok's got all of you now, hasn't it, Lee?
Yeah,
got
just a tad.
Yeah. We talked about doom scroll, didn't we, earlier?
Yeah.
Before we sat down to chat.
Yeah, I know it's the same with Instagram. You've got your search page, haven't you? Which everything comes up on there, and
I wonder what is all this.
Yeah, it's madness. I'm like, how do I get rid of this and start following new stuff?
Yeah.
When you look at Lee's discovery page on Instagram, there's a common theme here, and it seems to be blonde women.
They're all blonde with blue eyes. I'm like, I've not clicked on that many profiles, surely. I need to figure out how to get rid of those.
Let's just do a little bit of an about turn and just talk about one thing that you'd mentioned earlier about your sobriety. I saw you. I followed you and saw you start that just over a year ago now.
Yeah.
And I've had other friends of friends go through periods of having a month off or 2 months off, and I'm always kind of really admirable for it. Personally, I don't see myself as a big drinker. I like a drink. I drink more for just the enjoyment of it rather than the actual kind of the drug side of alcohol. But where did that decision come from for you, and how has the last year been as that's kind of played out?
So I've always enjoyed going out, and I've got a very, you've probably gathered, I've got a big all or nothing personality, and that comes with everything in life, literally everything there is. And alcohol was a big part of the all or nothing, and nothing was ever enough. So I was, because I played football, I've never drank in the house. That's never been a thing. I've never drank every day. That's never been a thing. I could go 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks without a drink. But as soon as I went out, going home at 3 o'clock wasn't enough. Going home at 7 o'clock wasn't enough. Doing the full day the next day wasn't enough. doing that night wasn't enough. So all of a sudden, my nights out would become a Friday, Saturday into Sunday. And the decisions I was making during those 2-3 days were, you would never ever make those decisions sober. I won't delve too much into them, but you would never do it, and you would then become embarrassed about what you've just done, which means that you've done wrong. If you don't want to shout from the rooftops about it, you mean you've done something wrong. And that was just happening more and more. And then the past 3 years has not been a good 3 years since COVID, and when Classified was born, I kind of moved all my PT clients across to the young lad that was working for me, who was supposed to buy into the business. His words were, well, they train with me now, so why would I give you money? And that was gone. And then I found myself then, when everywhere opened back up, being invited to, right, we're at the opening of the Ivy tonight, Lee. Perfect. I'd know everyone, I'd get invited everywhere. So I wasn't looking at that as going to the Ivy and enjoying myself for a few hours. I was looking at that and going escaping what was going on for 15 hours. So everyone else would go home at 1 o'clock. I know loads of people in there, so I would stay out till 5 o'clock with them, 6 o'clock with them, 7 o'clock with them. Everyone else getting up for work the next day. I was just an absolute mess, because them problems that I was hiding from have not gone anywhere. They've if anything, they've gone worse.
You starting your week as well in that.
You're starting your week in a terrible
awful state.
You're putting you're the driver at the back. You're just about to start a Formula One race, and you're you've put yourself in. But I've put myself there. That was the thing. So then a week could go by. I'd get back on my feet. I'd be back in the gym. I'd be working, and then it would be coming out tonight. We've got such a thing on, and I'd be like, well, fucking yeah, dead right I am, because I'm in a shitstorm at the moment, and I want to forget about it. So I'd go out, and then the 3 days again, and I'd ring Ryan in a mess and blah blah blah.
So what was the turning point for that?
The turning point
was it like a really clear defining moment when you were like, this can't.
Yeah. So a few things had happened, not last year, the year before. One of which I started actually seeing a girl that I really liked, which is very rare for me because of how fussy I am. And she'd kind of work weekends, and she'd come over on the Sunday morning, and I'd be hungover and wouldn't do anything. Me at that time was like, I'm going out, I'm a single, you're working, and looking now, it wasn't the right thing to be doing. I finished that because I had so much going on. Probably wouldn't have finished it if I wasn't going out every other weekend, and so on and so on. And then I was in a really dark place for 6 months, but I'd go out into where I lived, and I'd bump into everybody. I'd be like, you all right, you good? And be a completely different person behind a closed door. And then it got towards the end of the year, and I was like, I'm done with drinking. Like, I don't want to go out. And then it came to New Year's Eve, and a few friends were like, we're going to London. Anyway, pushed it too far that night. A few things had happened, and then I then got back on the train after not going to sleep. I met friends on the train. I got showered and went straight back out, another 18 hours again. Long story short, I'd spent the last £300 in my bank account. I'd ended up with nothing. I'd started the 2nd of Jan, because the 1st of Jan I was having a ball because I was still out. 2nd of Jan, I had in this big beautiful house in Wilmslow. Couldn't pay for it. Couldn't pay for my Range Rover on the drive. An incident had occurred in London, and I was like, I rang Ryan up and said, I'm done. I'm coming away from it. I've tried to control my drinking for the last 10 years. I will come out just for a few hours tonight. 20 hours later, everyone else is cracking on with their day. I'm still getting in. So I've tried to do that for years and years, and it suddenly hit me that this all or nothing mentality, the alcohol had to be the nothing side of things instead of the all. Yeah. So I spoke to Ryan, spoke to a couple of mates, and they were like, look, you've just had a bad experience. You've had a bad 3 years. You
remember that chat?
Well, I've had a million of these chats.
Right.
With him. Because I would see, I know the real, like him. And like, we'd be sat in a cafe, and he'd be close to tears, like filling up and whatnot. And the minute someone walked in who he knew, boom. This, are you all right? Yeah, good, mate, you. And you're like, it's not sustainable. it's just not sustainable to like, you know, they're coming in thinking, Lee, what a happy guy, what a thingy, and in reality, he was really, really struggling. There's when he was going out, you know, I'd rarely go out because I've got a family and stuff, but I would, you know, I'd go out now and again, and I would get swept up in it as well. I'd get in at 6 a.m, get a right bollocking off page. But I like that 6 a.m. was my cut-off, which sounds ridiculous, but like I would go home and he would carry on for days on end. And we were in the car one time towards the end of his drinking, where I said, mate, you can't go out this weekend. Like, you're skint. Like, how are you going to afford it? Because he, as you know, he'll be the first to admit, he weren't spending 20 quid. You know, he was spending sizable amounts of money. And I said, well, this is minimum 200 quid this night out that you're going to go on this weekend. And he was like, I'm already in the shit. What's another 200 quid going to do? And like, for like, he'll relay that back to me now, won't you? And go,
the mental way of looking at things.
What the hell was I thinking? That's 200 quid I had that I could have
to give away to.
Yeah. But like the change in him is just.
That was going to be my next question. Was like how.
Oh, like night and day.
So I was adamant then that I was done with it, and I was never returning to it. And people were like, "Look, just have a couple of months off. You'll be all right. You've just had a bad few years. You've had a bad December. You've been out a lot. Your head's up your ass." And I was like, "I'm done. Like this is me done." And they were like, "You've got such a thing on in February. Will it be difficult?" And I was like, "No, because I don't drink no more." So that's how adamant I was. And I don't actually, when you actually strip it down, I'm the most confident person who loves dicking about all the day anyway. I don't actually need it. Like, what do I need it for? So I started to go out for meals and then go to bars and stuff and just still have an absolute ball just on water. So I was like, I don't even need it anyway. And then you do have your moments where you're like, do you know what? Getting out of the house at midday with the lads, having a full day and night, look like ahead of you, you know, you're dressed up, you're looking good, you're smelling great, a single lad, so you're chatting with people. Like, you do have them days where you're like, I'd love to do that again, but the consequences of that, I would never ever put myself through it again. I just wouldn't do it. And I'm at a stage now where today's day 415. I'm over 13 months into it now. Well, and thank you.
Don't play it down. That's amazing.
It's really.
It's like, and it's. I think it's a heightened achievement just because of the person he was and the lifestyle that, you know, he's given up something that he genuinely enjoys doing, which is the social aspect of stuff. And like now, although, you know, there's there's stresses in life, there's other things that get you down and whatnot. But now he's in a position where he's not in a terrible state on Monday, where he then has to like build himself back up. He's up every morning. He's at the gym. He eats well. He's found like new things in going on a walk and stuff, and that is.
A lot of problems don't go away, but you just deal with them a lot better. My alarm goes off at 4:30 every day, and I don't wake up tired. Like, that's just my life for the past year. You go that long without alcohol in your system, that is just killing everything. That you've got this new lease of life. And like I say, I could go 6, 7, 8 weeks without a drop. I wasn't an alcoholic, but when I went, I would be. Yeah. And then the aftermath of that. So I've gone 3 days, 2.5 days of being out, and then it took you a week to get over that. And now I don't have any of that. I'm 7 days a week. I'm myself. I'm bouncing about 7 days a week. I'm present.
You're starting your Monday at the front of the grid now.
Yeah. I'm present 7 days. Yeah, exactly that. I'm present 7 days a week. I'm not missing it. And someone once said, do you not feel like you're missing out now? And I'm gaining. I'm gaining days. I'm gaining hours. I'm gaining family time. I'm gaining time with my friends. I'm like, I've gone from maybe having Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and going out, and then being an absolute nightmare for a week because my head's up my arse. To I could have an event now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I make all 3 of them. I go to all 3. But I'm still up at 6 o'clock the next day and going to the gym, and so I've gained. Yeah. I'm gaining so much.
Your output just maximizes so much more.
Yeah, I'm like 7 days a week. I'm present to work. Someone messages me at 11:30 on a Sunday night. Can you get hold of S Club 7 tickets? Through the concierge business. But because, S Club 7, I'm not a massive fan, by the way, although they did sing some bangers. But they've just announced a tour, so that is actually, I'm getting loads of messages at the moment. That's why S Club 7 coming to me. But and I'm responding at 11:30 at night on a Sunday instead of going, I'll get back to that. So I've just gained so much more time. And one thing I've opened up to 3,000 and odd followers on my Instagram. It's not a big following, but the response I've had of people wanting to talk to me. I had a girl who I used to train. She's 50 days yesterday or the day before, and she reports into me. She's like, Lee, I feel so good. I'm doing this and doing that. And all these people are reaching out to me and I'm helping them. But one thing I've never done is I've never preached that what you've just said, you don't need to come away from alcohol. You don't need to. Like you're under control. You like a few drinks and you'll go home and it won't affect anything. Ryan doesn't need to come away from it. I needed to come away from it because it was affecting so much more. The stupid things I was doing would have affected. If something would have happened to me, if I'd have been killed, like and these are scenarios that could have happened. If I'd have been killed or I could have killed somebody else, that's not only my life ruined, that's Ryan's life ruined, that's my mate Callum's life ruined, that's my mum and dad's life ruined, that's my sister's. Yeah. And that is enough now for me to go, I'm never touching the stuff again.
Yeah.
And from a business partner's perspective, you have to you have to peel those people off the floor when their head's in the bin after a 3-day bender. You're like, oh God, please don't be rough. Please don't be rough. Whereas now, never have to worry about that. You just like, okay, well, I know that Lee's going to be up at
the confidence is there, isn't it now?
Yeah.
And I'm a better person for a future relationship. Like, no girl wants me to say I'm going out for an hour and disappear for 2 days and not spend with her, and if I'm ever lucky enough to have a family. So it's benefiting things that haven't even happened yet. Do you know what I mean? So it for me personally, it has brought so much to my life, massively, and I love it. I mean, it's an addiction. That's the crazy thing. Not drinking is an addiction, just as it is the other way.
The other side.
Yeah. Those 200 quid benders are a thing of the past.
That was a good night.
The monetary side.
I'd do 500 quid on a night out because my problem was as well, I could drink.
Yeah.
So you could see me now and then you could see me in 15 hours and I won't be much different.
And he also doesn't go to your student unions either.
No, I can imagine he likes the finer things in life.
Yeah, so I was spending an
exactly how you
absolute... Yeah, spending an absolute fortune. But yeah, for me personally, it's I wish I had a bigger audience because I never thought I would be speaking like this about it because I've always been a very closed book with issues. Yeah. And Ryan said I
wouldn't even say this from like a patronising point of view, but it is really admirable.
Thank you.
It's really admirable that you that you've done it for starters.
Yeah.
But then you're able to just come on a podcast and just tell people. I mean, no one watches this anyway, so you're fine. But like,
they will do when they see this face on it. But they were like, Lee, can you come on again next week?
Someone will be like, have you seen the numbers? It's
the
Lee's face.
We've got 1,000 new listeners in Algeria.
And 998 of them are women. This is crazy.
Blonde.
But the thing is I never realised how big it was what I was doing. I was 2 months in and people are going, that is amazing. And I'm like, that is mental to hear. 2 months without alcohol is nothing. Is that how the UK is now? It's embarrassing. Like that we can't go longer than 2 months without a drop of alcohol. I was looking at that, I was like, that isn't a big thing. 3 months, and then people were talking to me and breaking down to me. I've got to come away from it, Lee. Like, can you help me? I've got to come away from it. They'd be like, Lee, I've done 3 weeks.
You weren't the only one. Like,
no.
You'd been going out with people that are probably masking that same problem and doing exactly the same thing as you.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, because it is mental. Alcohol is the only drug that people can sort of like come away from it and someone will question you, why you're not drinking? It's not as if you're not taking paracetamol, and I would question why you're not taking paracetamol.
We went out for a sober night out the other week. We went for some nice food. We both drove into Manchester, went for some nice food. We then went, should we go Lively Bar now? See
it was me pushing it because I still love that environment.
I don't. So I'm if I'm in bed for half 10, next door revs the Cuba. So we were going to go in Albert Slosh, but the queue was around the door, so we were like, we won't go there. But yeah, I can if I'm in bed at half 10, I'm a very happy man. That is where I'm at with my life. But so we were like, right, let's go here. We'll get a few Diet Cokes and we'll see what it's like. Have a laugh.
We've never needed alcohol to have a laugh anyway. So
we get in there, we're having a drink. It's pretty rammed, but then when you're sober in that environment, and you're both sober, so it's not as if he's drunk or I'm drunk.
Notice everything.
You're like, God, there's this like woman on the dance floor giving it like in her own world, and then you see like lads who we all done it, arms around each other,
spilling the drink everywhere.
And then what we noticed was whenever anyone walked into the bar, they'd walk in and then they'd open the door. As soon as they open the door, they go, they just start dancing the way to the bar. And we're like, this is mental, isn't it, when you're sober?
I always remember like in my sort of late teens, early 20s, like having a kind of group of friends at the time that just like all did drugs. And I was the only one out of probably 12 people that never did. And I think it comes down to just those early times of like just seeing a few people doing it and going, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
You do, and it's going back to what I was saying was realizing how big it is. I'd have a sit down with someone who was the fucking world was upside down. I've got to come away from it, Lee. Can you help me? 3 weeks in, they'd be like, Lee, I feel amazing. 4 weeks in, and then the 5th week, you're on Instagram and they're out boozing and they've lasted 5 weeks, and then it's not until you see that more and more that you realize how big it is. One of the lads who knows me quite well, I saw him the 7th of January, and it was in a bar in the daytime, and I was out having breakfast for a meeting, and I was like, I'm done with drinking, I'll never touch it again. He was like, I'll have your £500 bet, and we shook on it in front of a load of lads. And I bumped into him the other week, and he was like, I owe you 500 quid, don't I? I was like, no, you don't, just forget about it. But just to know that, like, that's what I have done. And you do, I speak to so many people who want to come away from it and they cannot do it. I wish I had 2 million followers on Instagram that I could help go through it. That is anyone's like me.
You probably wish you did it 5 years before as well, didn't you? But
it's
what it is, isn't it?
Do you know what? This is the right timing for me now. I've had some unbelievable times. I've done Las Vegas 12 times, and I've had the best time of my life out there. And
12 times. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I've done it twice, and I will never return on that type of holiday.
So I've had the most amazing times, but this is the right time for me.
Yeah. And like, just to bring it full circle to what we've been talking about before we got onto that, is like the benefit of your decision now on your business. Like, really, Class Brand wouldn't have done what it's done recently.
It wouldn't be a thing.
Had it probably wouldn't.
It wouldn't be a thing, because the last 12 months, Ryan's not had all the time to do what I've done on it. I've had to pull back, so it wouldn't be a thing. I've had to pull back on other stuff to work on it, so it wouldn't be a thing, would it? It would have been a let's pick that up, and then 2 months later it was like, where are you up to with them? Like, I'll chase it up next week. With the zero alcohol, the Class Brand wouldn't be the product it is now.
Yeah,
it wouldn't.
Running 2 startups means that you have to divvy it out, and one has to be a driving force for a certain amount of time on it, and then vice versa. So when building the product and when bringing that to life, that is all Lee stuff anyway. When you want to get to the technical bit, and when we need terms and conditions making and websites doing and coming up with like a business strategy, and
again, that's why it worked with both the app and we was like, look, Ryan's taking the massive lead on the app here, but when I'm needed, I'm there. And then with the clothing brand, I've took the massive lead, and it's got to the bits where what I physically can't get my head around doing, Ryan has stepped in, and now that's why it's the perfect little jigsaw. But I wouldn't be here now on it. Like, if I was still going out, and I don't know what kind of mess I would have been in, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think you would have been here if you would have kept drinking.
As in the podcast, not here. As in,
well, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
know, do you? But no,
Yeah.
you
No,
wouldn't.
no,
Well, no,
like
no.
no, I know.
I mean, the
I know.
stupid decisions I was making, anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but look, I've got a grip on things, and I've decided to do. Like I said, I would never preach, but for me, I had to come away from alcohol, and I've made that decision. And I think my life from last year forwards now will massively benefit from that decision, and I feel quite strong about that.
Yeah, it
So,
really comes across like
here
your
we are.
passion
It does.
and enthusiasm is, that's all or nothing, isn't it?
Yeah,
And,
I'm like
you know,
that with everything, and some things I'm proud to be all, and then some things you've got to look at, and you're like, well, that's got to be nothing now, and the alcohol had to be a nothing thing for me, and this past year I've done weddings sober, I've done stag do's sober, and I've got a stag do in Ibiza coming up this year, and I can't wait for it because I'll benefit from everything.
Yeah.
I'll be having a walk at 7 o'clock in the morning and going for a coffee, and then I'll be going to the pool party at Ocean Beach, absolutely loving life. So I'm winning with everything.
Yeah, and you haven't got the stress and drama of having to pick him up off the floor anymore, and
Exactly. Yeah.
kind of frees your mind and space up as well, doesn't it, to be able to kind of
Yeah, because it must have been draining.
Yeah, it will be.
Because I was speaking no sense. Not when I was drunk. I mean, like the process behind doing it.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, I'm already short for bills next month, so I might as well go and spend another 400 quid. I mean, what a mental way of looking at it.
And
Like,
it was an ultra defensive chat, so you couldn't have that conversation because it was just like it shrug it off. Whereas now
But the decision had to come from you. That's the thing.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. From my perspective, he's fresher now, and it's one aspect that you never have to worry about now. And because he's come away from it, and because I rarely do it anyway, you can see how that behaviour towards alcohol is just so detrimental in every facet of life. When you've got a relationship like I'm similar with alcohol to him, just not to the extreme that previously I wouldn't drink for 3-4 months, but then I would go out and I would get in at 6 a.m. But my hangovers, because my body was like clean, what the hell are you doing? Like, I would drink an astronomical amount to the point of I'm a mess. And then as a result of that, I feel dreadful for not just the day after, but like the week after. And I'm a terrible person at home. I don't want to do anything. My enthusiasm for everything's gone. Whereas flip that, now barely drink at all. If I do have a drink, I'll have 1 or 2, and that's every couple of months. But I'm banging to my running now, and I think that running gives me the complete opposite. Like, now I can't go a day really without running, because when I do run and I get that sweat on and I'm pouring my sweat, my enthusiasm for everything's through the roof. My can-do attitude, all them like negative doubts and stuff, they disappear. So it's just like these positive behaviours that we all kind of mount up. The amount to something.
I don't think you ever get back from a run and go, oh shit, I shouldn't have gone.
No, you never regret it.
And it's just getting out the door. Get out the door, get it done. You get back and you're like, yes.
All these people, like for instance, she won't mind me, Lucy, the other day, she did a talk on a phone like, I'm now 50 days, this is massive for me, blah blah blah. She drank every night and whatnot, and she's had like 1,500 views of it, and she said, my work has been unbelievable, this has been unbelievable, that'll be unbelievable. Like, I'd be shocked if she ever went back to it now, because all that what now is unbelievable, you're taking it away. You're taking that enthusiasm away. All these amazing feelings are because you've removed alcohol. Bring it back in, and you've lost all them amazing feelings again. And like I say, that's just a certain group of people. The people that push it to the next level. Me, you'll never have that, because you're in control and you can have a couple of drinks. But yeah, there's different types of people when it comes to alcohol, and I think a lot of people need to pick a lane to be in. Mine is the nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does the future look like for you guys now? How do you sort of see the next sort of year, 2 years sort of playing out? I know with the Class brand you talked about, it's the next drop, it's the next shipment.
Yeah. So, well, that's the immediate goal is to get this next drop done, hopefully be as successful as the first one, and just keep building that brand, keep introducing new products, keep getting a wider audience. One thing we've done from the start, which we've been really happy with, is we're trying to build a community of our customers, so that we've said that anyone who bought the first drop will get first refusal on all future products, and we want that to be the case. If our demand goes up, we want the people who were there with us from the start to always be able to get a product, because we work in drops, so there's limited numbers. We've purposely done that, but the people who took a chance on us at the very start,
you don't forget them.
Never forget them, because they're what got you to the dance. And when we, hopefully in a year, 2 years time, we're flying and products are going out the door like that, they will always have first refusal on a product. And in terms of the app, we will build on what we know. We will release that product at some point this year, and then we will grow that as well. And one thing that we've found over the last couple of months is that people have started to come to us now with opportunities. Will you two get involved in this, that, and the other? And you have to be wary of your time, and you have to go, well, can I commit? Because of the way we tick. If we get passionate about something, all of a sudden it's like, rah. But yeah, so all this enthusiasm and all this, moving products forward and bringing things to life means that new opportunities arise as well. So we're gonna make Zio and make the Class brand a success, and then we'll keep plodding on.
It's amazing. You guys are so inspirational. It just makes you want to.
I've loved chatting to you both. I knew it would be good. Again, looking from the outside, it's clear that you've both got a really good drive and ambition to go on to bigger and better things, but that you're playing the long game about it.
Yeah.
And I hope that you can. I know, you're talking about being at the BBC and stuff, and I know I'm sure there's an element of passion about that. I'm sure. You love that job, but also at the same time, just being able to get to that next stage where you can kind of step away from it, just to give you full-time focus on.
I think if I wasn't so passionate about sport and that role, because it's not work, and I don't mean that in the sense of the output. It's tough being a producer. If anything, it gives you the perfect foundations to be a business owner, because you have to come up with an idea, you have to then completely map it out, you have to get contributors, so I need a cameraman, I need a presenter, I need this, that, the other, and then you start putting it together in the edit, and then you get this final product which you then put out to the masses. So it's perfect foundations for businesses, and because I'm sport mad, I absolutely love it. And I think if I didn't love it, I probably would have just come away and gone, right, well, I am going to take a bit of a wage from this, that, and the other. But I am passionate about it. I do love what I do. And, these at the minute are, very much our priorities. But, we're not going to take out of the business until we need to. So...
keep the graft going.
Yeah. And and the way that we tick, by the way, because we've been on your podcast now, we'll push this podcast like mad, because that's the way we operate. So, we'll go away today and go, right.
Well, I mean, that's great that you're going to do that. I mean, I think people will just take a lot of value from the conversation anyway.
But we want to be the number one episode, so
we could just get a couple of
who's top dog at the minute?
If we could just get a couple of the Man City players just to reshare it to their audience.
Yeah, another idea is shot up in Algeria.
But again, what we're doing, there's a lot of parallels. We talked before we sat down about what we're doing here, and that we're having to really kind of lean into the process and going, no, come on, let's just stick with it. There's an end goal here.
Of course.
It's not just around the corner.
Yes,
around the corner, down the street. It's at the bottom of the road. It's there's a lot of things that are having to chop in. We've talked on the podcast before about we wanted to try and launch an AGM, which is another general meeting, but a big conference. And we're like, it's just not the right time yet. So we're going to put that on the back burner, and we're going to try and do other things that will kind of drive a bit of revenue and income, so that we can then sustain this for another year to allow it to grow. And they're just the decisions that you have to make when you're in business.
Yeah,
Of course.
I think one reason why we, were keen to come on as well is that we've been asked to do other podcasts before that have been over Zoom and stuff, and what you've got here in the way that you shoot your podcasts, and you've clearly put a hell of a lot of time and thought into it. And the way that looks, I consume your podcasts on YouTube. I like a visual podcast.
I know you mentioned to me a while ago that you were.
And the way that you shoot it, beautifully done. It's appealing. And then
now we've got this boy's face on.
And then
We call it the game changer.
The apparent money.
The cameras haven't died yet.
Thank you for having us as well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We really enjoyed
it's been good seeing you.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We love to finish the podcast with our usual question of, if you were to meet a 14-year-old Ryan and Lee, what sort of advice would you give him?
Nothing. If it was easy, everyone would do it. That's exactly what I would say to them. You've just got to, nothing's going to fall into your hands. You've just got to go and get it yourself, and don't feel sorry for yourself, and put the effort in, and stay true and honest to yourself. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mine's going to sound really cliche, but just follow your passion. When I was 18, I worked in a bank for a couple of years, which was
I can see you behind a desk.
It was a call centre, so it was like a team manager of several advisors selling things. Not passionate about it in the slightest, and it's shown because I was really I hated it. Yeah. And then one day I was like, I have to do something I'm passionate about, and took the steps to try and get into sport television. That fortunately moved into our local area. So and doing something that I've loved to do for this many years, and then now whenever we do something now we're really passionate about it and we love doing it. It's just
What's
the best.
That saying? You find a job you love and you'll never have to work
a day in your life. Yeah. There's nothing more true. And if you can earn money from your passion, then it gives you great foundations.
Life's short, isn't it? Life's short. The idea that you could just, a lot of people do it. A lot of people sit behind that desk because it brings in their regular salary. Yeah. But they start the week thinking about, oh God, how long till Friday?
That Sunday night. Oh my God, it's work tomorrow.
I was chatting to somebody the other day. I can't remember who it was, but he said his dad used to, on a Sunday evening, would go and he'd have a big Sunday night drink, just to try and take the edge off.
Being Monday morning again.
Yeah, because it was the Monday morning dread. And I just can't imagine living like I go to bed on a Sunday. I'm like, right, 5 a.m. alarm.
Look forward.
I'd love to be I'd love to get up at 4:30 in the morning. I don't have it in me to do that. But on a Monday, I'm like 5 o'clock. Right, boom, I'm in the office, and I love sitting.
Brilliant.
I love coming to the
It's a great way to start the week. It's it's the best way. The best way to start a week. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. You've been
thank you for
having us. I was trying to think of some sort of some summarising words, but I've really thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you both. Yeah. You both should be incredibly proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
And we say it about everybody that comes on, don't we? But again, just very excited to see where it goes.
Appreciate that. No, and thank you for having us again. It's been really enjoyable.
Good stuff. Should we go and get a cup of tea?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Oh, no, where do people follow you?
Oh, sorry. So we're at the Class Brand, at zeo.app, and then mine is at Ryan Evans TV.
Yeah.
And
at theclass.lee.
That's Instagram, but that's our main pages. So you'll find every other page through that.
Great stuff. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
for your time.
Bye-bye. Cheers, guys.